Hello, my friends. Karen of Karen Shire Coaching here today for you. And I just wanted to talk about a topic that's kind of on my mind right now. There's so much chaos and emotions happening right now. And we just have to remember that peace exists in many things in many places. And sometimes we just have to remember to look for it. So today in this short video, you're going to find a lovely technique for bringing peace into your life in times of struggle. And so I hope you find it really helpful. You know, some of the peace that we can find come in the form of memories that we can reflect on. Others are places we can visit in the present moment. Sometimes peace comes in the form of a person, one who we trust, one who we can spill our guts to, and who still loves and accepts us for who we are without any judgment. Personally, I find peace when I'm in their presence. And I'm lucky to have a few key people in my life like that. And when we're laughing or hugging or just sitting together or giggling on the phone or giggling on a Zoom call. And for those people like my grandmothers and my dad, I find peace in their memories. They've long time transitioned, but I can think about them and it brings me peace and it brings me a smile and I think about the good times. And sometimes, simply creating and looking at a list of peaceful things brings me a sense of calmness and warmness and safety and happiness, like being enveloped in a nice warm hug. And it seems like such a simple practice, but it brings so many good things to me when I'm having a down day. So when I'm writing out my list, I think about the senses, the tastes, the sights, the smells, the sounds, the feelings that I had in those moments. And I think about the people, the places and things that brought me lovely moments of quiet and calm. And I write my list in my journal. A lot of times I'll just use like a pretty notebook and and I know it's there. So when I'm having a down day or I'm just feeling a little off, I can go to my journal and find my list and I can feel the peace and the gratitude and I review it, read it out loud, read it to myself, whatever feels good in that moment. And then I instantly feel better. It just brings me back into a better, more high vibrational place. So I thought you might like this technique. And here's some things that come to me at the moment. Some may resonate with you, some may not. Make your own list and see how that feels for you. But some of the things, smelling a hot loaf of bakery bread or fresh strawberries when you get them from the farmer's market, they're just so much better, or out of your own garden. Um, or a steaming cup of hot mocha always brings me peace. Opening a new book and anticipating the immersion into a new story. I get a little bit of excitement from that. Okay, what's going to happen? Brand new book, brand new story, something to immerse and enjoy. I'm a country kid. I love the smell of cornfields in the summer or watching a campfire. A campfire will mesmerize me for hours. And it's just something that I really enjoy doing. Um, the other thing is one of the things I missed when I moved into a city a few years ago was you don't see the night sky. You don't see the dark night sky. So I missed gazing at the stars in a dark night sky. So one of the things we do when we go hiking in Sedona is we spend time up on what they call the airport loop. It's kind of this top of this mesa, and we'll just sit and look at the stars. And it's just so relaxing. Go out in your backyard, turn off the lights, look at the stars. The sight of a large harvest moon. It's so beautiful. That big orange moon in the sky is so gorgeous. This year we've had lots of opportunities to see the northern lights dancing across the sky. So, the greens, the pinks, the different colors that you can see, sometimes not with the naked eye, but you can see it on your phone, right? So it's lovely to record those things. And when you're feeling kind of down, go back and look at it again. Um, I love chocolate. So but not just eating chocolate, slowly eating a single piece of a decadent dark chocolate, noticing its texture, noticing its taste, its sweetness, its bitterness, letting it roll over my tongue until it melts away and warms my tummy. that's just a nice moment, and you don't have to eat 12 of them. Just be really present in the moment when you're eating that one lovely piece of chocolate, and maybe go to a nice chocolatier shop and grab just one that looks really great. Who doesn't love the feel of a child's hug and the unconditional love? You know, when they run up to you and they give you a hug and you give them a hug back. That's just so lovely. It brings such great joy. Singing along with a favorite upbeat song without a care of who's listening. You know, maybe you don't want to sing it out in front of other people, but sing it in the car, sing it in the shower. Just turn on some tunes because music can really bring us out of a funk. One of the things I love is bird song in the morning. So in the summer, and I think it used to drive my husband a little crazy, but now he appreciates it. But I loved hearing the sound of birds and singing in the morning. And they'll kind of start from a far off place, and then it kind of, increases in frequency to kind of a crescendo, and then it kind of quiets back down. And if you've ever listened and just listened how they greet the day, to me, it just brings me a lot of peace and joy, and it always makes me smile. And I just love it. The other thing, I love crickets and frogs chirping, especially when the last rays of sunlight fall below the horizon. We're lucky enough we live in Michigan and we are pretty close to Lake Michigan. Um, but what's lovely is just sitting on the beach and just with no agenda, no anything other than listening to the waves and just marveling kind of at the immenseness of Lake Michigan or any of the other Great Lakes or any little lake. It just brings a sense of calmness. We used to, when we lived on the lake, we had this pair of loons that just have this lovely call that they make. And just sitting and watching them move by, and you could see, even from quite a distance, you could see their little red eye. And so watching them move by, swim by just in the morning or whatever was just so peaceful and calming. And I'm thinking about, the anticipation you feel when you're going to meet up with a dear friend or a family member that you haven't seen in a while, and how that feels, that moment, and anticipating, and those memories come flooding back. You put that on your list if that's something that resonates with you. Another thing is a lavender smell of a warm, fresh, fuzzy blanket I just pulled out of the dryer. There's nothing better than just grabbing that blanket and hugging it close. Pets, petting your dog or talking to a bunny who happened into my yard. I used to have this rabbit that would show up when we lived on a lake too. And I kind of got in the habit of greeting him and just talking to him for a minute. And he seemed to sense a calmness about me. So he kind of stuck around. So it was just kind of a fun thing to do. And if I was feeling, frazzled or whatever, just those feelings those little moments would really bring me back into my present moment. One of the other things I love is, have you ever tried earthing your bare feet in the grass? Take off your shoes and go stand in the grass. That will bring you down, connect you with the earth, and it's just a lovely thing to do and to do often. There's lots of science behind it, of the benefits of that, but I'm not going to go into that. Um, I'm a gardener. Noticing the trees in the gardens around me. I noticing the birds, noticing the bees, the critters, the squirrels, whatever it may be. Just sit without an agenda and just kind of start to watch those things, even if it's, 5 minutes, 6 minutes when you get home from work. It'll have this effect of calming you down and bringing you back into the present. One of the things I love is a quiet house. Right now, Chris has gone to work. I don't have any TV or distractions on. I have a candle lit, and I just like the silence. I like the silence. It brings me peace. Um, and it just kind of rejuvenates me. One of the things we're in fall right now is listening to the wind rustle through the autumn leaves. I love the sound of that. Just hearing those autumn leaves. And obviously seeing the beauty out my window, but just listening to the leaves. It's such a simple thing. One of the things from my childhood that I love was the memory of chasing fireflies with my brother and my cousin at my grandmother's home, which also happened to be an old one-room schoolhouse. So it was just a neat place, and I always felt safe, and it was just fun. There was my cousin and brother and I used to have a lot of fun. And so I remember those times. Um, Recently, we moved to a new house, and the thought we have a small yard out back, and the thought of creating a beautiful garden or a she shed in my new yard where I can play in my plants and sit on a swinging chair in the warmth of the summer. The thought of creating that brings me a lot of joy. And I can really go into detail of, okay, I want my swinging chair and I want a place to put a table, be able to do some crafting. I want a little, place to hang plants and things. Just thinking about getting into that creative space of what would you create for yourself will bring you peace, and it will also increase your energetic vibration and make you feel better. I like to do in adult coloring books. And I'll use usually colored pencils, or I'll use markers or whatever strikes me at the moment. I like Zentangle. A friend turned me on to Zentangle, which is a doodling art form that's really designed to calm and bring you peace and calm, and just kind of lose yourself in those moments. I'm a big journaler. Those of you that know me know that for me is a really powerful thing. I find that when I journal, I have almost immediate results most of the time. And there's so many different ways to journal. I won't go into all that, but there's hundreds of different ways to journal. And just, often just journaling what comes to mind, letting the words flow with whatever energy needs to be released in the moment, then marveling and giving myself some grace at my accomplishment for taking the time to do it, even if it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes, or I sit down and do it for 30 minutes. It's just giving myself the grace, and then recognizing the accomplishment when I'm done. Oh, here's a nice one. Remembering my Grandma Darlin's hot homemade bread steaming from the oven, and I watched her lovingly knead and work it to perfection. She was always making homemade bread. And I don't have the recipe and I don't know how to make it, but boy, just even thinking about it brings back lovely memories of my childhood and growing up. And then reminiscing how my Grandma Napper could make an amazing meal from almost nothing, and her love of painting and gardening and piano and laughter. Just thinking about those moments brings me back into the present moment, brings me peace. And finally, the last one I'll mention is the amazing first and second dates on the same day with my husband. When we first met, we actually met for a lunch date and spent the afternoon at botanical gardens, and we're having so much fun and didn't want the time to end that we went out to dinner too. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And so again, when I'm down, I come back to this list and think about it, and I'm immediately taken taken to a better place. And it's such a easy thing to do. And these are just, of course, some of the things. This probably seemed like a pretty extensive list, but these are just some of the things that bring me back into my present moment with a sense of peace and calm and happiness. And I guess I just want to ask you, my friend, did you notice a calmness after listening to me reading my list? Did you have thoughts that popped into you going, "Oh, yeah, I like that," or "I don't like that, but here's what brings me joy." What other things came to mind for you? So, I'm going to challenge you. I want you to do a bit of healing homework for you. and I invite you to grab your favorite beverage, go somewhere you love and won't be distracted. And, you know, um, turn on some music or just do it in silence, whatever feels best for you. And make your list of lovely, peaceful things today. And I want you to keep it close to you for when times are stressful and you're in need of peace and calm. We're coming up on the holidays, and those can be stressful, lots going on. So take that time to make yourself a list of those peaceful things you can reflect on. And I want you to remember that you're always supported and loved. Enjoy your day. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about this lovely healing process. And I'm here if you need me. Thanks so much. Bye for now.